Today we're going to be talking about FouseyTube and his entire situation. Now, FouseyTube is someone who's been on the internet for a very, very long time. He was very popular back in the days of edgy YouTube back in 2016, and he's most known for shouting on top of a car at the top of his lungs while his wife beater slowly crawls up his body. But he's recently made a comeback as a streamer, and honestly, it's one of the saddest things I've seen in a long time. So initially, FouseyTube's content after coming back to streaming was pretty wholesome. It was, fan-based, it was kind of all the focus was making good, fun content, and it was wholesome. But slowly, FouseyTube started to fall into this little boiling pot of water when he went to an airport and he met this drunk woman. She was very obviously drunk. And throughout the conversation between the two of them, the woman eventually mentioned that she was, at one point or another, a victim of sex trafficking. Now let's play. What did Fousey do? Did he A, comfort her? Did he B, give her money? Or did he C, have sex with her? And if you guessed have sex with her, you're right. I don't even have to mention how abhorrent that kind of behavior is. You meet a drunk woman at the airport and your first instinct is to stick your dick inside of her. What a crazy character arc, man. I can't wrap my head around it. Now, surprisingly, his community started to call him out for it. His chat started to mention and kind of berate him for taking advantage of a super trauma drunk ridden woman. And rightfully so. Chat was pissed off. And, he did the thing that all YouTubers do. His first instinct was to go, "It's just a prank, guys. Just a bamboozlement. I didn't actually have sex with her. Maybe." And it's not even an over-exaggeration. He literally said, "You got pranked." Like, quote unquote, "You got pranked." I'm fucking losing brain cells while talking about this, man. Jesus Christ. So the situation, unfortunately, gets worse for FouseyTube. Fousey ends up checking into a hotel after getting kicked out of his Airbnb for the night. And live on stream, he decides to call the police. He dials 911. Now, to me personally, this kind of looked like a manic episode of some sort. To be honest, I'm generally unfamiliar with FouseyTube's mental health situation, but I do know back in 2015, 2016, when he quit originally from YouTube for the first time, it was due to his mental health reasons, and the break was meant to help him reconstruct his mentality, get professional help, the help that he needed.
Send the fucking cops. Send the cops. There's a gun to my head right now. There's a gun to my head. Help, ma'am, he left. Ma'am, he left. There's a gun to my head. Help, get them. Help, bye. Ma'am, Intercontinental, what's my room number? Help, tell me. 2020.
And unfortunately, it doesn't seem like he got the help, or at least the proper help that he needed, because you fast forward to now, he called 911, called the police to his hotel room. I don't need to explain to you how bad that shit is. Like, it's just kind of like a common sense thing. But obviously, going through a manic episode, you don't realize it at the time. Your mentality is essentially in a drugged state of some kind. So obviously, the police show up, as they should, and it's a very, very difficult watch.
Okay, and who is this guy?
I don't fucking know.
So how do you want us to look for him if you don't know where he is?
I have his address.
What is his address?
I said grab my security 20 minutes ago.
Alright, listen.
You guys are dumb as fuck, man. You guys are literally dumb as fuck.
The general consensus on this is Fousey did get arrested, although I'm not sure if they're just detaining him because obviously he was going through a manic episode. His mental health was really, really suffering. He was having a breakdown at that point. I thought it was really, really shitty that the people in his chat were going fucking nuts for this mental breakdown here. They were typing like W stream and they were talking about how entertaining it was in his chat. Just some really sick shit. Because at the end of the day, you're watching someone go through a mental breakdown live. And, for a generation that takes mental health so seriously, I was very surprised at the response that his stream got. It's some really sad and twisted shit to be genuinely hoping for someone to go through a mental breakdown. I don't know what kind of sad sack of shit of a human being you have to be to hope for someone to go through a mental breakdown genuinely. Like, that's just so wild and foreign to me, Overall, I do think Fousey getting detained or arrested was for the better. He strikes me as a person that doesn't really have limitations when it comes to his manic episodes. So I think if he was left alone, if the police never came that night, I do think his situation could have potentially ended much, much worse. And unfortunately, for the sake of Fousey's mental health, I think he should take a break from YouTube. In fact, I think he should get off the internet maybe forever and get the professional help he needs, because the life he's living right now is no way to live. I mean, he's got, the people he was doing his streams with are all very numbers driven people. Like, I know people like Neon, the kid who faked his own death for views. You got Aiden Ross. Those types of people are, at least from my point of view, view driven people. They're not real friends. They are people that are trying to leech as much shit off of you, as much clout and numbers and everything off of you as they can before you, fade away into obscurity. And I really just think that Fousey should try and get away from that. But obviously he's not going to be able to do that himself, because I believe YouTube is probably his livelihood. He likely doesn't have enough to retire from doing any work at this point. So he likely needs YouTube, and it's probably the only thing he knows how to do. And that's kind of where you run into a catch-22, because if he does YouTube, he's going to run into these mental health breakdowns constantly, I'm sure. And, he doesn't really have the supplies or the support that he needs to stop doing YouTube. So he's in a really tough spot right now. So I really think if Fousey isn't arrested, we're going to continue to see him pop up on stream, unfortunately. And I really don't think it's going to take a good direction. But I genuinely hope that it doesn't end up that way. I hope Fousey gets the help that he needs. I hope he gets the support, and, he figures out a way to get through all his mental health struggles. Because seeing someone go through something so severe and serious is very difficult to watch. And it makes me sad that someone is going through all of those problems with only just encouragement from both his audience and his so-called friends. Anyway, I really just wanted to touch on the Fousey situation, because a lot of people are talking about it, and some people, sickeningly enough, are talking about it like it's a good thing, and it's just not. It's overall, the situation is terrible, and I really do wish him the best. But yeah, that's really all I wanted to talk about, so have a good night.